Hello, how are you? Today we are working on a basic hamstring adjustment modification for men with tight hamstrings. Marcel over here, he practices yoga, and there's always limitations because of the lack of flexibility. And I know I've experienced that. I couldn't touch my toes when I started yoga. And these simple tools and tricks will help you feel more comfortable and at ease. And who knows, maybe get there a little bit faster, whatever your goal is, if it is to find more flexibility or just find that space and length that sometimes is not as easy to find. So we're going to start. Down dog, one of the basic yoga poses. So show us what down dog looks like with your legs straight. Okay. So there's a few things that we see here. First of all, the heels don't touch the ground. Here, relax your head. And notice what his spine does. Is this your full flexibility? There you go. Okay, this is his full flexibility. He's engaging, he's doing all that he can, but he's still finding this curvature of the spine, and the hamstrings are getting a stretch, but that's not the point of down dog. The point of down dog is to get traction in the spine. So what we're going to do with Marcel today is have him bend his knees just a bit and move his sit bones back. Okay? So now you see we're getting his spine to be properly straight. Now Marcel also has slightly tight shoulders. He's a surfer. And after working out so much, we have all this contraction up here. So think about this when you're practicing. Go ahead and rotate from inside outwards. Okay, it's the external rotation. Bend your knees a little bit more and sink. Lift your sit bones and sink. Do you see now how we have this long line? And by squeezing in through the elbows, and we don't even need any props here, which is even better. How are you feeling?
Oh, good.
Good. Now let's create some space in the hands. Turn the hands outwards a little bit. So we actually turned his hands a little bit wider and more external than normal, just again to give the space here, to find this length here, and keep pushing back. Now slowly start moving yourself into a plank pose. So his feet were a little short, but that's okay. I wanted him to find the feeling of down dog. Now go ahead, bring your knees down, and find child's pose for a minute. Keep your arms straight and strong out. Glue your hands to the ground. Okay? And this is an exercise that you can do with a friend, or try to embody the aspect of this exercise yourself. So Marcel, without moving your shoulders forward, tuck your toes. Okay. Stay nice and long. You can even probably walk those hands a little bit further. And push your thighs back. Aha. Okay? Yes. So we created a little bit more space in the thoracic spine, more length. His arms are nice and long, and the legs are bent. Okay? Please step the right foot forward and come into a high lunge. All right, good. You can keep the hands on your hips if you want for now. Good. So we're talking about lengthening the hamstring, right? So go ahead, please. Inhale, hands on hips, and straighten the right leg. Good. Bend the right knee. So by doing some dynamic motions, go ahead, find this about 3 or 4 times. Keeping the body nice and long, the head looking forward, always having that breath and space to do one more. Good. Bring your hands to the ground and switch. You can step switch or however you like to. Eso. Good. Go ahead, same thing, hands on hips. Find your ground, find your feet. And notice his knee is perfectly aligned over the ankle. That's great. And he'll do a few of these extensions and releases. Sometimes when the hamstrings are really tight, warming them up a little bit at first before going into a deep flexion or really deep extension is nice for the muscle to just let go and kind of hang out a little bit. Now hands to the ground, step back, and go ahead, downward facing dog, the way we did it through the child's pose. Nice and long, push back. Okay, so now we have the whole spine resolved here. Now I want you to start playing a little bit, working those hamstrings back. So pushing one heel down at a time. Again, dynamic stretch. This is how I've been starting a lot of my practices lately as I wake up with really tight hamstrings. Okay? Good. And now just stay on one side. And you can use this foot with the toe on one side and the second toe on the other side and push down through your heel. So hook your foot back here with your big toe and push downwards. And do that on the other side. So these are simple things that you can start incorporating into your practice at home, getting a little bit deeper into the poses. Sometimes you don't have a friend or an instructor there to help you. So I want to give you guys the right tools to find good alignment and feel good in your down dogs. Okay? Good. And then go ahead, bend those knees. Find that length in the spine. And now see if you can start straightening just a little bit without pushing this forward. Yes. Okay? So we're not compromising the integrity of down dog because of the tight hamstrings. And go ahead, you can walk your feet forward to the front of the mat. Okay, separate your feet about a little bit wider than hips width. Good. And just rest on your thighs and hug the back of your legs. Relax your head fully. Always remember to breathe. Take a couple more deep breaths. Always thinking, how can you lift up from the sit bones, but push down from the heel and the calf? And now slowly, Marcel, go ahead and place your hands on your shins. Okay? Look forward with nice, strong, straight arms. Straighten your legs as much as possible. Okay? Now you see how his hips are behind his heels? This is very common. Look at yourself in the mirror and see what's happening when you practice. Shift forward just a little bit. Even a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Now I want you to push your shins forward as you lift your kneecaps, but pushing your thighs back. So shins are getting pushed forward. There's a lot of engagement in the legs right now, yeah? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. Now hands on hips. Inhale all the way up to standing. Nice and tall. Beautiful. Inhale, take a nice deep breath, arms up over your head. Exhaling, fold forward, keeping that same feeling of the legs, keeping the hips over the ankles. Remember, you don't need to go as deep. Just put your hands on your shins. Lean forward. Open your chest. Look up halfway. Yeah, keep your hands a little bit lower. Good. And then exhaling. Keep going back. Go ahead and fold, bending your knees and holding the back of your legs. Just how we did a couple seconds ago. That's it. Relax that head. Draw the navel in. Right? Engaging Uddiyana Bandha. Lifting the sit bones, pushing down through the heels and calves. Relax the head. There you go. And place the hands on the floor. Step back into your downward facing dog. So take your time, kind of do that little child's pose action. And as you get used to this entrance into down dog, you don't have to go all the way to child's pose. Sometimes I kind of do like a halfway, set the spine, and then extend. And go ahead, please step the left foot forward, all the way to the front of the mat, and parallel your feet facing the sides of the mat. Good. Take a nice deep breath, open chest, and exhaling. Arms wide into a T. Take inhale, draw the tailbone down, rib cage in, look up, find lots of space, and as you exhale, fold and bring your hands to the inside of your feet, in the middle of the mat, right there. Good. Now take a deep breath. Keep the hands forward. Open the chest. Look forward, forward, forward. And now exhale, fold. And walk the hands so that the fingertips are in line with the big toes. That's it. You don't have to have them as wide. Just right in the middle of your mat. Right there. And lean and melt. And we're going to stay here for about 5 to 7 breaths. You can stay here a little bit longer. This is a fairly passive, like lengthening of the spine. Traction, but active legs. So that position where we had the hands on shins moving forward and thighs moving back, sit bones lifting, we're applying it here as well. So imagine that the shins are getting moved forward, upper thighs are moving back, and sit bones are lifting. So then slowly, you'll start working on that flexibility of the hamstrings without feeling the pressure of having to touch your forehead to your shins or touching your hands to the floor. So you can always access this by going wider. Okay? Good, and then an inhale, look up halfway, hands on hips, open up all the way up to standing, and then close the feet together, And that'll be our lesson for today. Namaste. Thank you. High five.
All right.
All right.